I'm going to ask like the annoying questions that I always ask people who like work in creative industries, which is like I'm totally baffled.
That's why I brought the booze so that you could like get the cocktail party vibe.
Hello and welcome to Notes from a Small, Cold, Dark, Miserable Island, the one and only audio guide to life in Britain if you're not British. And let's be honest, if you are British and you're still here, what are you doing? Why haven't you left yet? I'm Mike.
I'm Matt, and I think we should encourage them to, spy on us and to get a feeling of what we're like and to not, shove us into traffic just because of our nationality. Let's not knock out the limeys.
It's a market, I think, that we need to tap up here, right? You are not banned from this. In fact, you're encouraged positively to listen to it if you're British.
So come back. If you tuned out when Mike said to leave, I want you to intuitively come back now.
Hello, wives.
So, Mike, today we, for the first time, have alcohol in the studio. So cheers, paper cups.
Cheers.
From my daughter's
Ding, ding.
Fifth birthday party. That's how old these are. And the reason for that is the other thing that we have for the first time in the studio is a special guest. So please, I don't know who I'm asking please to. Please let me welcome Sacha Szwarc, a dear friend of mine from way back. We'll talk a little bit about that day. Sacha is a BAFTA-nominated film and TV editor. He's got acclaimed credits including Sherwood, Banger, Time, The Long Shadow. You remember that one from last year. Take it back a few years with The Last Post with Jessie Buckley, soon to be Oscar winner Jessie Buckley.
Yes.
Des with David Tennant. That was a little bit while back, but now most recently, The Hack, starring David Tennant again and Robert Carlyle. Really good. Recommend that one as well. Sacha, what up, my dude?
Hello.
Thanks for being here on a day that you got your hair cut.
Yes, I'm looking very fresh. Happy
You're looking
to be here.
so good. I'm actually going to put a picture on Das socials.
Lovely.
Just strictly because of how good you look.
Thank you.
You are an American accented multinational man.
Correct.
So if I'm going to sing you in first, if you could share with us, how did you get to London? What is your visa story? Tell us how you got your visa.
Well, it's going to be a really short story because I'm a British national by birth, so there was no visa.
Right.
So, I mean, my mother is British, my father was French, I was born in America. So then it's that thing of, it's a combo of all three.
You got three.
I know.
Do you have 3 passports?
I do.
Beat my daughter by 1.
Yeah, so, I mean, but I've talked a lot about this to people because they're always like, but you sound so American. And it's, I think because I lived in America, I was born in LA and then was there in Northern California for high school. A pretty formative time.
Right. They say that like the age when you are a kid learning language, that's what most imprints on you. This is our whole Gillian Anderson conversation. Yeah. Is like, what were your teachers in the first and second grade, and that's what's really going to imprint on you.
There you go. So that was America, and then
Northern California
that was 13 to 18.
Okay.
But then I was in a British school when I was sort of 2 to 5, and then an American school from sort of 5 to 8, 9, and then an international school in France. So then even in the international school, you're exposed to lots of British, American kind of mix, so it's all in there. But then I've had it when I go back to America, if I get in an Uber or something, people think I'm Canadian. Or, there's little things that they pick up on. I'll say, lovely. Which
So middle school years you were in France, but in an international school.
Correct.
Roughly.
Yeah, roughly, yeah.
Yeah.
When I first moved here and met you, you were like the first person with an American accent or American person who I felt successfully could address someone as mate without sounding like a total dickhead.
Making fun of them.
Yeah. Because you would call, and I was like, this American guy just called me mate. He's really trying hard. But then I was like, oh no, it's because of his history,
and that's it.
That it's ingrained in him.
Yeah. when I went back to America and said that in casual passing, people were like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Well, I can't help it. It's part of the DNA now. It's how I speak."
Yeah. So, where'd you go to? You went to film school, yeah?
No,
Okay.
I went to university. So I went to university in Paris.
shade.
No, it's fine. And I did a bachelor's in film and TV history, like film theory, film history.
In Paris.
In Paris, yeah.
So after the stint in Paris, back for American high school.
No. Okay, so
we need.
I'll do it from the. I'll do it from the.
We'll do it from the whole life story.
We'll do it from the top. So born in Los Angeles. Yeah, it will. Born in Los Angeles, London for a couple of years, where my brother was born. Then Connecticut for about 6-7 years. South of France for 2. Northern California for high school, and then Paris for university.
And then from Paris to
London. Correct.
And was that always your target? You wanted to go to London to work, or you were going to go to LA? What was your thought process?
I think at the time I'd graduated, I did try to start working in France initially as an assistant editor, which was quite difficult. It was just after the 2008 crash. It was work was tough to get, and it was quite a closed shop. And I mean, I could speak French. I can't speak French, but
prove it.
No, I was never going to be.
I don't believe him.
Yeah, exactly. This is all just a sham. I was never going to be taken as seriously as a French person. I don't think. Like, I think they were more. It was quite a closed shop. So then my brother had started drama school in London. My mother was going to move here to be closer to her mother, my grandmother. And so then I thought, well, this kind of all works out. We're all here, and it's a bigger pot, for film and TV. There's more international productions happening here.
Yeah, let's talk about that in a second, but I just wanted let's close out this history. So you moved to London, and you can't just jump right in and start editing pictures. You got to pay the bills, etc. So you start looking for work. Tell me about some of your favorite employments that you had.
Well, the first one is going to be how we met, which was All Star Lanes, which was a American style bowling alley sort of restaurant, would you call it? Bar?
Yeah, restaurant, bar, and lanes.
And lanes.
Two rooms. It was in Bayswater, and it was at the time it was one of 3 All-Star lanes going. The Bayswater one no longer running.
There was a bit of a trend, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Maybe that's past.
I think.
What year are we talking about? What year did you guys?
2009.
Okay.
Yeah. Late 09.
Yeah, it was like Christmas. Yeah.
15 plus years ago. Yeah. American bowling. I feel like other things have sort of risen since then.
Well,
darts, mini golf,
axe throwing.
Axe throwing I think is the big American import. North American? Did we give that to Canadians?
Oh, you might have to. Montanans, I don't know. Now I don't remember this, Sacha. Did you rock up to All-Star Lanes? Our mutual friend Sam was working there, so I don't know why she started working there. Was it because you're I'm going to exploit my Americanness at this American-themed entertainment complex?
Well, to be fair, I'd already done that in France. So in Paris, I worked for several years, both as a cook and as a waiter in a diner, like an American-style diner called Breakfast in America.
What?
There was 2 of them. One on each side of the river in Paris. And I mean, it was absurd how many people would line up out the door for pancakes on a Saturday morning. At 8 o'clock in the morning, we're turning on the lights. And I mean, there's a line already forming out the door, which back in 2007, 6, that's kind of now with, the way food and restaurants are, it's kind of normal to see those big lines out. But back then, that was crazy.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it was just lines out the door all day for burgers, pancakes, the whole kind of Americana type thing.
It's so funny, and also so, I guess, contrary to stereotype, right?
Yeah. Yeah, big time. The French loved it. They couldn't get enough of it. They thought they were like, this is wild. I mean, that's not their style of cuisine.
Yeah. Until they learn about bowling.
This is crazy.
What other sort of things were getting served? I'm trying to
It was the, patty melts, burgers, but the thing with the burgers was they tried to sort of change the way it was done. So they'd serve it
fusion.
Well, not fusion, but they'd serve it open out. So it's open face. The top bun was not on top of the burger. It was right next to it on the plate, if that makes sense.
Is this around the Atkins era?
No, I think it was just their way of being look, you can add sauce to it and then close the burger. But the French sort of look at it and go, well, I'm obviously meant to eat it exactly as it's arrived on the plate. So I'll just use a knife and fork and I will eat this half bun with tomato and lettuce.
Yeah.
And that's the meal. That's clearly what they do.
And the spare bun is like a Yorkshire pudding? Like, what are we doing with the top?
It was very strange. They just didn't... They didn't like the concept of having to handle the food and put it together, and it was very odd. But I saw many people do that.
Yeah. That's delightful.
And then, hash browns, and they do the sort of breakfast combo, like 2 eggs, 2 slices of bacon, 2 pancakes, 2 chocolate chip pancakes, which they were just like, this is crazy.
What was the standard of the food? I mean, was it good?
It was pretty good. I mean, we all tried, but I mean, as you know, it wasn't, let me put it to you, so it wasn't fresh made pancakes in the back. It was sort of Aunt Jemima's, it was, but it was good. It was good. I mean, it wasn't bad at all.
I always feel like a lot of those places, like, it just sort of gets by. Like, they're not terrible, but they're pretty...
It was... For where we were in the country, I mean, let me tell you, there's a lot better restaurants in Paris than that place.
Right.
There's a lot better places to eat in France than But for what it was doing, it did it well. And I mean, they were. I mean, all jokes aside, they were great to me. And I shot 2 short films using both of those restaurants as locations, which was great. So,
but were you using them as American locations?
I wrote a story based, like I did one which was like a silent film about a cook working night shifts that sort of has a passing romance with someone on the metro, and it was all silent. And then I did a whole thing where we shot it completely silent and then like Foleyed everything to kind of give this heightened thing to the sound. And also it was a way to do it kind of cheap, so I was able to shot it on 16 mil, and then they just let me shoot there at night. So it's like I worked in the day and then I'd shoot there at night across a week, and then I did the same thing with the other restaurant location. That was like a surreal sort of kind of like almost like a play, like a short film where it's like a purgatory, and someone's died. These groups of people have died and they're waiting to either go up or go down, and I used the restaurant's location.
These are the great lost works of Sacha.
Gone forever.
Well, you need to get them on your...
I know. They're out there.
So, but
link in the description.
Paris is not tenable, and family ties make going to London a better idea. So
Correct.
you get to London, you're working at a kitschy bowling alley with a grumpy front desk guy.
We can get to the meeting shortly.
Well, you tell this story too about like the first day you came up to the desk and you're like,
it was the first day. It was like the first, and I mean, it's like to try and this place was crazy. It was like on a it was so big, it was so busy. On a Saturday, it was essentially a creche. Like, I mean, there was just children's parties everywhere.
That's right.
So it was just nuts, and you had 10 lanes, and sometimes the lanes malfunctioned, and there were 2 tech staff on to deal with that. But somebody would be like, "Excuse me, the lane. Where's my ball? It's not working.
The ball is stuck. The
ball is stuck. The
pin picker upper won't do its thing."
It's a very dangerous job, isn't it? The person who repairs the bowling alleys, like, isn't it still like several people get crushed to death?
Hazard pay.
I mean, I think thankfully that wasn't our jobs. And I mean, I think now they have it where they pull the pins up with pieces of string so nothing gets caught. But I mean, but this was an original style. But anyway, I went up to the front desk and Matt was working, and I'm like, "Hey, man. There's something wrong with this lane. I don't know which number." I mean, to be fair, I wasn't terribly helpful probably, but I was like, "It's stuck." And you were like, "Listen, man, if you're going to come up here and say that there's a problem with the lanes, you need to use the right terminology, okay? So there is a sweep on a lane 11, okay?" And
so come up and say lane sweep on 11.
And then I was like, who the hell is this
I don't
guy?
have time for this dithering of this person being like, "Hey, you know, in bowling where there's this long runway." Okay, so
You're like, "I have shoes to check, okay?"
Hey, listen, that is my second best story from All Star Lanes is that I gave Prince Harry some shoes.
You did, and I think I DJ'd on one of those nights when he was there with his staff.
and he was lovely. His friends were douchebags.
VIP room?
He was there was because remember the room with they had like 2 lanes or 3 lanes in the back.
Yes.
For private events.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So from there,
we became fast friends.
We became friends because we both then like joined the rotating DJ crew.
Yes, we did.
So we were like, "Hey, we work here, but also treat us special because we DJ once a week."
Yeah, which was fun.
It was great. And there was no pressure. You could just play a lot of like old soul music and fit in with the theme.
Bit of Michael McDonald's and the usual hits.
You DJ'd my wedding, my
I
schmedding.
did. My great memory is playing Creep at sort of 5 a.m, and you and Seth sort of sashaying away. It was brilliant.
We had the silk pajamas. And
Yeah. It was great.
So you started to get some gigs. I remember. I know you were doing some like independent stuff. You were doing some commercials. And whatnot.
for film and TV.
Yeah.
So then I
remember the last post being like a big one for you.
Well, I mean, if we go all the way back, so I was working at All Star Lanes. I actually met my first sort of bosses there. I was waiting a big table of people. It was a big party, and then they came back a couple weeks later, and they were like, "Oh, you looked after us that previous week. It was so great." And then they started asking about me and what I wanted to do. What am I doing here? The accent tends to spark those conversations. And then I was like, "Oh, well, I've moved to London. I'm trying to work in film and TV. I want to be an editor. That's the goal." And they were like, "Oh, that's really interesting because we have a production company." And so then I took their information and I basically hounded them for sort of 6 months and, kept emailing and calling every once in a while and just checking in. I didn't get much response. And then eventually they did come back and say, "Oh, actually, we do potentially need to hire someone. Would you like to come and meet with us?" So I went and met with them. I worked for a year with them. They eventually went on to produce Richard Ayoade's The Double.
Okay.
But during that time of working for them for a year, mainly development, they introduced me to a few different editors. And then I was still going back and forth to Paris every once in a while, working on music videos with a friend. So I was editing. I'd go sort of Friday night, stay for the weekend, cut a music video, and then come back. And I would then send this. One of the editors I met, I sort of got on with. I started sending him my work and trying to get in there. And then eventually he offered me to come and work with him on a film. And at the last minute, I was going to, leave my current job for that. At the last minute, he called and said, "I'm sorry, I can't take you. The company I work for has put in money into the film, so I'm going to take the 2 assistants from this company." And so he said, "I'm really sorry, but, best of luck." And I said, "Well, if you're taking the 2 assistants, who's going to fill in for them while they're gone?" And I said, "Maybe I could do that." And he said, "Oh, that's a great idea." So then I went and filled in for them, did about a month and a half, and then I got offered a full-time position there, which was an editing house that cut commercials.
Yeah, what was the name of that place in Soho?
Speed,
yes. I would come and meet you after work at Speed.
This is a great story. I love this story because it's like, you had like the luck of like them walking to the bowling alley, right?
But you also had the pushing the buttons and like and
if a British
following
person
up.
said this story, they'd be like, "Oh, well, yes, I gave them 2 left shoes at the bowling alley." They'd be completely underplaying it. I just sort of backed into this job. That was clearly you had the persistence to keep up with these people.
100%. And I think that definitely is from that. That is the mixture of the different upbringings because, there is that thing. It's so funny. People who are British people who move to America talk about this all the time where an American person was like, "Oh, I really loved that film you did. It's brilliant. It was excellently edited." And the person will go, "Oh, well, it wasn't me. It was the whole team, and I'm just really happy to be a part of it." And they're like, "What the hell is wrong with you? You mean you weren't good at what you did?" And so it's that thing of they're like, "No, just say thank you very much. I worked really hard and I did a good job. That's it. That's all you need to say." So yeah, I think it was that thing of it was like, what is it? Luck is when preparation meets opportunity, and it's that thing of being prepared and trying to grab it.
You. So you've done a really good job of just like making, maintaining really good relationships professionally, so that you get recommended by people, and you've like, we can edit this out if need be, but like, I love about your IMDb pages, there's also a couple credits that I know about that not everybody knows about, where it's like, well, Sacha's a really safe pair of hands, and we need to bring somebody in to do a little fixie here.
Yeah.
And the name's not going on there, but
no.
So this is what I want to ask. Now, I'm sure you encounter them, and definitely like in the theater world that I'm in, I encounter them too. We get American young artists coming to town every day.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, we do not want these assholes taking our gigs away, but what's your advice, or what would you say to people who want to come to here, to come to London, to come to the UK,
get a job
to work in the film and TV industry?
Yeah, get a job in a bowling alley. That's your first step. I mean, to be honest, I'm not even sure at this point. I mean, I know it's terrible to say that, but it's like sometimes I think back and go, God, how did I do all of that? How did I get to this point? But I guess it is that, like, trying to sort of put yourself in these places where these opportunities will be. I mean, I think even when I first got here, I did join some classes, like some, sort of cheaper film classes at community-style colleges here, and just tried to sort of meet people. And funnily enough, I did a course out in Ealing, I think, and I met...
That's where Michael is.
My current
or Ealing Broadway, around there, I think.
Yeah.
So I met an editor there who then went on to do other things, and we were repped at the same agency for a bit, and I've continued to know this person professionally. We've never worked together, but we just happened to meet at that point. We took two different paths, but ended up in the same place, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I think, it is that, like, probably trying to put yourself in those places where, you might meet some of those people. Because it's true, as you say, all of this has come through connections.
Right.
When I was at Speed, I worked for years as an assistant. I then, met different directors. I made sure everyone knew I wanted to do film and TV. Eventually, one of those people went and did The Last Post, Miranda Bowen, and then she wanted to take me with her as an editor. And then one job led to another.
I encounter folks who, kind of forget to do the job at hand, and it's like they're there for the networking first.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times I'm like, I get a little icked out at times when, like, the first conversation I have with a person is like, who do you know? Where can I get in? How can I vampire off of you?
Yeah.
And so I think like an important thing, about your story, Sacha, is that you just always do a good job. You show up, you do what you're supposed to do. You bring your creativity, and that's the foundation before the whole, while I'm here, let me make sure that everyone has a good vibe off me and that they know what I'm about.
No, 100%. I mean, I was just so grateful to be, when I was at Speed, I mean, I was like, this is a dream come true. Like, I'm now in a building with 6 editors who are all amazing, and I'm getting to assist all of these people. And I mean, they were, I worked really hard, but they were really great. It was like a really great group of people. So I felt excited every day to come to work, and I'd learn things from all these different people. So for me, it was, I then just wanted to be as great an assistant as I could be before pushing up to that next level.
Love it.
The thing that always gets me, now I'm going to ask the stupid questions that I always ask of creative people who work in creative industries, mostly because of my own insecurity right now. I've recently gone freelance. This is part of the reason why we started this podcast. Return to episode 1 if you need to hear that story. But you're working, and to your point, where the people who are always trying to network, right? You're working, you have a job, but you know that you won't have a job soon because the movie will be over, commercial will be over, whatever you're working on will be over sometime. And it's always hustling. I just cannot get my head around that. That's my problem. But how do you do it?
I mean, it's a huge concern, but it is that funny thing of I think, I don't know, maybe to Matt's point, I show up every day and do as good a job as I can, to the best of my abilities, and get on with people, and then those people tend to, or it seems to have always come organically. I finished a job in August. I was offered a couple of them. I turned them down because I needed some time off this year. My father passed away about a year ago, and I just wanted some time off. And then, I made sure that I had enough money to cover a few months. And then naturally somebody called and was like, oh, hey, actually, we've got something. We need somebody to step in. Are you free? And I was like, oh, yeah, okay, I can step in now. And then it, led on to something else. I've got another thing lined up in a couple of weeks. So there is always that fear. And I know, and I am grateful that has been the case for me. I know plenty of people who it's not been, and they've gone 9 months without work or longer. I think it's just that thing of trying to kind of keep all the balls in the air. I always try and touch base with different directors I've worked with when I'm coming up to breaks, and just see what they're doing, and make nothing sort of oppressive. I'm just sort of touching base with them because they're also my friends, and then I kind of keep a handle on that stuff.
It sounds like, you, with your experience in France, it's like you say, a little bit more of a closed shop there. I guess that's one of the things that I think about. It's probably so big here that there's always
something.
There's always something.
Yeah, exactly.
Sacha is a bit younger than us. He's 10 years younger than me. So and so that maybe gives him, better energy to be able to navigate these things and to go to a cocktail party and make the right.
That's my cane.
I just want to, because I'm just gracelessly shifting to another thing, non-professionally related that I want to talk to you about. Because you just recently had a momentous birthday, which number I am not going to say for posterity.
Lower than ours.
Let's just say it ends in a 0.
Yeah.
And you, for your birthday, your lovely girlfriend helped me make the decision about your birthday present because she was like, we want to go have a meal. Yeah. Now, hold on. This meal is going to be very expensive.
Yeah.
So we're going to need multiple people to pay for this meal. I feel like my contribution covered your napkin. Maybe
it was good.
So you had this. Amazing
just the other night
dinner, and I kind of wanted to talk to you as a person who, beyond pancakes and hash browns, are one of the people that I know as a foodie, like a person who is really into restaurants and food in the city of London. And if you just wanted to, give some shout outs or speak to the restaurant culture.
Yeah.
Because for a lot of Americans in town, that's a draw or for tourists. So here's your chance
to share. I mean, to be honest, it's funny when you think about it. It's like I came from Paris, which is obviously an incredible food epicenter, and then coming to England, London specifically, seeing how much it's changed in the last sort of 10 years for the better. I mean, it's like there's everything in this city. Like you can get every kind of cuisine, sort of Ethiopian, Turkish, American. Mexican is still always tricky.
Taco Quest is one of our ongoing ongoing challenges.
But I think that is probably better than it was.
Definitely.
Well, I remember
10 years ago it was non-existent.
Just 20 years ago there was that, what was that place? Cafe Pacifico. Was it something like that?
I remember that.
That was like the only Mexican restaurant in London. Yeah.
Just to interject real quick, when a friend of mine, an expat friend of mine who is now back in California, he once got a visa as like an indispensable worker because his employee at a burrito joint was able to convince, the visa board that his ability to roll a burrito made him an indispensable worker.
Incredible.
And so he got his visa off of, burrito roller.
I mean, it's a skill. It is a skill. That's impressive.
What was the meal? Do you want to endorse the restaurant you went to the other day?
I'm happy to endorse it because it was fantastic. And I mean, I have to say again, I mean, as you did already, I'm so grateful to my partner Ellie, for who I love very much, who put this together, who crowd-funded this meal for us from all the friends I have, which was lovely.
All 3 of them.
Yeah, all 3 of them. They dug deep for that meal.
Sorry, bro.
No, it's cool. It was
that was a very British joke.
Yeah, exactly. That thing of sort of putting someone down at the same time. They're very good at it. So it was called Ikoyi, which is near the Strand, and it's sort of West African fusion. So it was a tasting menu. It was absolutely extraordinary. It is expensive, but it's definitely worth it. But what was funny was at the end of the meal, we were the last ones to leave, and the chef was at the front, and I'd sort of read up about this guy already, and I'd heard that he lives in Camberwell, which is where I live. And as we were leaving, I was like, "Thanks so much. This meal was amazing." And then he was like, "Thanks. I'm glad you enjoyed it." And then we got talking, the 3 of us, and I was like, out of curiosity, am I right that you live in Camberwell? He's like, "Yeah, I do." I was like, "Oh, me too." And then we just started talking about all the places to eat in Camberwell.
Oh, nice.
And he was just like, he's like, "This restaurant, I love this restaurant, but it's like when I'm not here, I'm eating at the Turkish place in Camberwell called FM Mangal, or I'm eating at Silk Road, which is incredible Chinese in Camberwell." So we just had this big chat about all the great places to eat in Camberwell.
Great. And did you learn any new ones?
No. We just vibed out on we just vibed out on the ones that I love as well. So
should have shared a cab home.
I know. I mean, he doesn't live too far, but yeah, no. I mean, FM Mangal in Camberwell is incredible Turkish. Silk Road, Theo's Pizza is really good. I mean, yeah, those are some banging spots. But then there's plenty in London. I mean, St. John. I love St. John Bread and Wine. I love that place so much. It's so good. And I mean, yeah, there's just like, I'm trying to think of...
St. John Bread and Wine. Where's that?
That's near Liverpool Street. And it's like Fergus Henderson is the owner, or I think he's just stepped down actually. But it was like the first restaurant that focused on sort of nose to tail eating, sort of using the whole animal. Awful.
Hold on, I gotta leave the room right now.
Yeah, exactly. This is not for Matt. But it was, at the time, sort of seminal, and it still is. Like, it is still an institution. It's really good. Great wine, amazing wine. Yeah.
Nice.
Let's talk one more thing that I think is like super relatable or useful from your experience. And this is something that I personally am dragging my feet on because my wife has recently got a car.
This is like your therapy session.
It is. I'm just
driving.
I just compare myself to Sacha all the time. And
Driving,
yeah, because you had a real saga, and not from any like failing of your own. Like, whereas I couldn't learn to drive stick when I first took lessons here in like 2009. I was like, fuck it.
Yeah.
But post COVID, it was a challenge for you. Talk to me a little bit about that mission.
Well, so post COVID, so I can't quite remember how it works, but like in terms of booking the test, it's done through this online portal, and they release the tests like once I want to say like once a month, and it's like at 8 a.m. or 4 a.m, something obscure. And basically what happened was after COVID, all of these people, or, gangs or whatever you want to call it, got bots to buy up all the tests.
No.
And then resell them. So then it became
shameful.
It became like it was like a waiting time of like a year to get a test. And to try and even get one in your area could be almost impossible. People were signing up to apps that would notify them when a test was canceled in the specific place they wanted to go, and then you had to try and get on it. It was awful. So I did get one, and then I had loads of time, so I started doing lessons outside of London. My mother lives in Farnham, so I was like, okay, I'll go do my, lessons there, and I'll take the test there. Get away from the city centre of London where it's chaos. So it's quite funny. When I went to do it, my brother had this driving teacher, and he was like, oh, he's really good, Rich. So I went and met Rich, and he was like, oh, I'm going to probably do some terrible British accents now, so I apologize to everybody. But he was like, oh, I thought you were going to be like Stefan's younger sister, Sacha. Anyway, good to meet you. So
I was going to try to come on to you.
He was like, you've been driving your whole life. You're going to be fine. And so the first thing we talk about, he's like, you're going to be fine. You'll pass this, no problem. I was like, I'm not sure. He's like, well, what side of the road do we drive on? And I was like, the right? And he's like, wrong. Immediate. And I still, to this day, have that feeling where I'm like, I want to get into the other side of the car. I've been driving in here now for several years. Yeah. Still want to get into the other side of the car. It's just ingrained in you.
Mike, you've had this journey as well. What are the things, like, I mean, what do we tell people? Like, what are the prime differences besides the side of the road? Roundabouts?
The roundabouts are always, in fact, moving back, I had to sort of relearn the roundabouts. And it's like, what's going on there? There's a big circle.
More suburbs are doing roundabouts, like in the Chicago area as well. But
there's a weird, like, random states that do roundabout. Like, in Ohio, there seem to be a lot of roundabouts these days.
Oh.
I don't really get that. But you're right.
I guess in new developments, or how, this used to be a field and now it's
the rise of those sort of technocratic, abundance lib type roundabouts are more efficient.
Oh.
And then, like, sometimes they just take over the town board and suddenly, like, everybody's fucking confused for like a year. Then it's more efficient.
It is. Yeah. It is more efficient.
It's more efficient. They're right.
I just want to shout out Angola, Indiana. I remember because we've talked about them before, and I know that they've got one. So just trying to get that Angola money.
Yeah. You wouldn't think that it would, like, catch on in the Midwest, where people would be like, no, we gotta have intersection. But no, there are more there. I tried to. I think maybe I was in my late 20s, early 30s or something. I tried to get my British license, and I went through like a traditional route. I sort of signed up to some British School of Motoring. What's the big? Do you know the big
BS?
Sort of, yeah, it's like initial something.
RAC? No, wait. Red.
Maybe it's literally British School of Motoring. BSM.
BSM. That's the one. Yep.
And then the guy was like, "This is a car. You get in here. This is a gear." And I was just like, "Dude, I know you want to charge me for like 20 lessons, but like I just need the sort of basic things about the roundabouts." And then after one lesson, I was just like, this was, I don't know, you couldn't really sort of Google this. I suppose you could. Yeah, it wasn't that like long ago. I found this guy, and his name was Steve, and he was just like, roundabouts? Yeah, all right, 4 lessons I'll give you. You're going to pass that fucking test.
Amazing. I love it.
Boom. And it was just like, I was just going round and around and around and around for like 2 hours. I actually think I failed the first time, but the second time I was golden.
Chevy Chase, Hey Kids, Big Ben Parliament. I mean, that's like a foundational joke for a lot of like Americans of a certain age about coming to London.
Yeah.
And there ain't no roundabout there either.
No,
so
they
just inserted that joke.
It's pretty funny though.
Yeah, we'll give Chevy a couple credits, though we know he's an asshole. Thanks. See, this is like the public service end of our pod. Sometimes we do want to help. So yeah, so hey kids, or hey people moving to London, get your provisional license.
Get your provisional license, do the written, and then
take some lessons.
And then you zip around on a e-scooter for the next few years with a big L on the back.
Pass the knowledge, become a black cab driver.
There you go.
No, I mean, I think it's doing all of that, and then you don't need to take the test in London. You can go and take it anywhere. So I mean, I know people who went and took it miles away in a tiny town with one road, and they were like, great, that one's available, I'll go and take it there.
My my giving up, my leaving driving lessons because I couldn't learn a stick shift. A lot of that was based on London because I was like, I said to my instructor, I was like, can we just go to like a church parking lot or to like a big store parking lot where they're closed, and so I don't have to be like stalling out trying to trying to switch gears.
It doesn't exist
on roads that on roads with live traffic and human beings. And he's like, what church parking lots do you think exist here?
Yeah, doesn't
and I was
exist.
like, well, where am I going to go practice my maneuverability drills?
Yeah, nowhere. I mean, even when I was doing the parking thing, it was like a busy Tesco parking lot. People, trying to get in the spaces I'm trying to park in badly.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Maybe just don't do it. Listeners.
Just walk forever.
Yeah.
You passed. Right. This is going to be a saga. We're going to go out driving sometime. This is going to be a
That's
whole
good. We'll bring the mic.
Bring
All
the
right.
mic.
So what do we want to touch on with Sacha before we get going here?
Well, we got to talk about, with an industry person, we got to talk about the films, movie awards season.
That's
and
right. Relevant recos. What do you recommend for people who might be your friends?
Very nice.
So yes, okay. So it's Oscar season. You and I, you're one of my most reliable.
Yeah.
Cinema. I won't say going to the movies. I'll say
who's
going to
win
cinema.
the big game?
Right. So, is there a movie this year that you highly recommend that does like involve both American and British personnel?
I mean, the film I loved the most was Marty Supreme. So I think that ticks both.
Is there British involvement in Marty Supreme?
Gwyneth Paltrow? Is she British? No. She's married. She
used to be British when she was Emma.
Yeah. Sliding Doors? I mean,
why was she British so much
exactly.
early on?
That's what I mean.
She was so frequently British.
She's Dame, isn't she Dame?
Dame Gwyneth.
Gwyneth.
The name is...
I just think of her as British. But okay, no. So, but it was married to a Brit at one point. I mean, Coldplay.
Oh yeah, Coldplay.
There you go.
Yeah.
So there's a
there you
connection.
Go. Yeah, she probably owns property here.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm very pro Marty Supreme as well.
Oh, it's so good, man.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any of these films yet. I do want to see that one. Sounds good.
Yeah, it's a good time too.
We were also talking about Hamnet, which
I
think
seen.
Probably for the Anglophile Americans, it's going to be a must-see.
Shakespeare in Grief.
Yep, there we go. I mean, I have not yet, but...
I'm the only one here who's seen it.
I hear wonderful things. I'm going to try and see it this week.
No spoilers. The guy's a good playwright.
Yeah. But One Battle After Another.
Yeah, that's my number one still, which I know is such a bro.
But it's great.
Yeah.
I mean, to throw in some actual, sort of proper British ones from this year, I Swear was amazing. Really good British film.
I love it, the adaptation of the All for One classic. I swear.
It's great. That's a really good British film. And we need more of those kind of films. The Ballad of Wallace Island.
Oh, good
great.
one. Tim Key. Yeah.
I like that.
So
I thought I would
good.
hate watch that film.
And did you enjoy it?
And I loved it.
It's so good.
Yes.
So I mean, they're just so wonderful
Very
together.
charming.
You thought it was going to be sort of quirkiness on top of quirkiness.
It's got quirk potential, but
the Brits are
good.
good at this. They can make this kind of great. I mean, a lot of places can, but the British are very good at these kind of small indie films.
Yes.
that break through and touch you.
Well, they did this thing throughout the 90s and the aughts of these like populist films of like a scrappy bunch of small town weirdos get together and do a thing. So like Full Monty, Calendar Girls, Waking Ned Divine.
Yeah, cried a bit, but yeah.
Yeah, what was that a recent one with Toni Collette, who is not British, about some folks who buy a racehorse. Like this thing where like let's make this thing that makes, normal people feel good about, accomplishing
We're
a
going to change
thing.
the world in our little village.
Precisely.
We're going to start a podcast.
That's the one.
That's the one.
Steal that idea.
Good. Excellent. That's it. I don't want to talk about any news. Is that okay?
Are we just going to skip the news?
I was just going to skip the news.
Okay. Let's just, because, and I know Sacha is also worried about, he wants to still, work in America. So he does not endorse what I'm about. I just want to say, just because I don't want people to think that we did an episode and didn't acknowledge. So I'm just going to say the words right now. Minneapolis, Greenland. We know.
All right, we got to do the news now. I guess. I don't know. Was the NBA London game on your radar?
Okay, it was on my radar. Okay, so my fantasy basketball group text blew up with the London NBA game on, and the guy who I met through a friend at All Star Lanes, who's in Australia, who's in my fantasy basketball league. Shout out to Joel. His team name is Giddy Up because of Josh Giddey. Anyway, Google it. He texted the thread and was like, hey, are any of you guys going to the NBA London game? Last year, the NBA Europe game came to Paris, and it was the Cleveland Cavaliers, my team, and the tickets were exorbitant.
That was a big thing, though. Again, the people in Paris going crazy for American.
But that's the thing, is because these places, basketball is massive in Europe, and
it's huge.
and they don't, and the NBA is the pinnacle, and so when they bring the traveling show through town, everybody comes. It's like the NFL does multiple games here a year, and they sell out, and everybody comes.
Yeah.
But everybody comes, and I said this to somebody this week, it's like NFL bingo, because you look and you try, and are all teams in the league represented by the apparel people are wearing, even though they don't follow the teams that are on the field. So no, I was not interested in paying, just get in the door £250 to see the Orlando Magic and the Memphis Grizzlies, who are two pretty uninteresting teams. Ja Morant played for Memphis, so that was cool. But yeah, no, crazy right. Just to get in the door. But you pointed this thing out to me because I didn't pay attention to the game. But yes. there was a newsworthy moment where during the national anthem, during a pause in the singing,
this is hilarious.
Somebody yelled,
"Keep your hands off Greenland!
Keep your hands off Greenland!" And there was some whooping and cheering and supporting of that, and then the PA guy was like, "Please be quiet," while the woman's still trying to get through the anthem. And this followed on from the day, the day after or the day of, Renee Good's murder. The NBA game in Minneapolis, the Timberwolves, they were and now a moment of silence, and at the a couple people waited for just that tail end of the moment of silence to shout out, "Ice, go home, fuck off ice." And so I wonder whether the person who shouted, "Keep your hands off Greenland," was aware of that moment.
I didn't even register that. I've been trying to sort of keep up with Minneapolis news, but I didn't see that particular.
Yeah.
Sort of
well, I mean, obviously that's pretty unimportant in comparison.
Yeah. But
so yeah, the NBA was in London this week. I didn't go to any of the activations.
Who won the game?
Memphis won. They also played in Berlin a few days before, and so Memphis and Orlando split the games. Don't worry about it.
Doesn't matter. Will be irrelevant in the final standings.
It probably will.
All right, I think we're done.
Do you want to? We got Sasha's movie recommendations. Mm-hmm. Sasha's back. He left. He had to go to the toilet right when we started talking about politics. He has no knowledge of what we were saying. So if there's any Border Patrol who are listening to this podcast, in retrospect, holding up the queue while Sasha's trying to get in at JFK Airport, just want to let you know that Sacha didn't have anything to say.
Nothing at all. I've only just come back into the room.
Yeah.
Did you guys have a good chat?
That was nice.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
Yeah. What else is on the rundown?
I think that's it. We need to mention the email, which is
colddarkmiserablepod@gmail.com.
And the only other thing I'm thinking here is like the theme song. You know, we were going to discuss this.
What are you still looking for something?
Yeah,
like?
we are.
Because
we
I
have that
did,
stupid generic music at the
I
top.
have a little something, but I thought maybe it was a few years ago, the internet was using a phrase called basic bitch. And I feel like I've prepared something and I feel like maybe it's a little bit too basic bitch. But maybe if I just run it down and maybe you can cut this out.
Let everybody be the judge of this.
Okay.
Go on. Give it to us.
Okay, hold on. This is
Just
a
a demo?
potential theme song. Jank, 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 jank. Boom, boom, jank, jank, boodly boom, jank, jank, boom, boom, jank, jank, boodly dappa da dappa da dappa da da da. London potting for the Anglophile nerds who can write dissertations on the deep cuts of blur. London potting for the literary types who read every word that, like Zadie Smith writes. The tech bros are coming, but you're tuning in to artsy Gen X dads who are good at complaining. If you're here for finance, give some to your countrymen, 'cause London's expensive and I can't get cheese, it's delivered. That's the sound of a fox in my bins outside. Doom doom doodly doom 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 doodly doom jank jank jank. Don't forget subscribe and like.